about the 9 circles of hell. You don't want to be there. And you have a choice. You have a tiny window of opportunity before it slams shut on our little winkies. Okay? I'm just, listen, I'm just telling you, man. You got a little window of time. Thank God. Praise God. Say, I want right values, God. If I'm wrong about my opinions on anything, my values, my priorities about what's important, what's of no importance, a little importance, straighten me out, God, so I could do your work. I want to be your servant of my own free will and accord. I want to be your friend. I want to be on a leash. I thank you for my boundaries because I got issues. I fall into. I got weaknesses. I can be pathetic. I got enough of them. I don't need more. I need less. I want to please you. I want to be liked by you. I want to be strong so I can help others and serve you and please you and ultimately find true, everlasting happiness. So we have, what is our task? What is our job as believers? To go out there and win him friends. That he's a collector. He's an addict of friends. He can't get enough friends. Beautiful. I mean, isn't that how we should be? Try to make friends with everybody and say, well, this person doesn't, he's just mean, hostile. I mean, he doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to be my friend. Well, that's their prerogative, right? Yeah, it's free will. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So it's a program of attraction. That's a term I've heard from these 12-step programs. Nothing to be ashamed of to call yourself an addict. We're all addicts of something. It's our human nature. We're creatures of habit. We all know that, right? Not all your habits are perfect, right? Why is that? Why would you engage in anything that's a downer? I mean, aren't there enough freaking downers out there? But we all do it. Why do we self-flagellate? It's escapism because our reality is so foul. I mean, for God's sake, it's so stressful living in the 21st century. I mean, hearing news that's going on around immediately, what's going on in Surfside, Florida. Oh my God, this building, what the hell? All our 21st century engineering, they can't even put up a building that won't collapse. What the hell is wrong with us? But I got to know, it's not like the days of Pony Express where you might hear about it 2 months after the fact. No, it's immediately now. All this crap going on, war here, famine here. So we're all without excuse for getting involved. Say, God help us. God help us. Please, God, let your will be done on earth. Please forgive us. Please lift your wrath. And the way his wrath is being imposed on us is he's lifting his hand of protection over us. That's how it happens. Do you think those people that were killed in that building in Florida are worse sinners than you and I? Jesus pointed that out. He talked about the Tower of Siloam. Read about that. No, man, death hangs over all our heads day to day. I mean, it's hard being human. And we should all be very, very thankful that God knows that. And he's there for us to comfort us and encourage us, something no other human can do. And albeit humans can be great, there's great friends that'll go so far as to die for you. That's pretty damned impressive. It doesn't get better than that, does it? It's a beautiful thing in that they learned that from God, from Jesus Christ going to the cross, being willing to die for his friends, his followers, his disciples. Those that loved him, those that he loved and cared about very much. He cared about their eternal salvation. But they can't, no human can save our lives ultimately. This physical body, it's a body of death, a mortal coil. We've all got to relinquish it. I don't like it any better than you. I hate it. I hate death. It's at the top of my list of things I hate. And then it's money. Money's got to go. And then I got some other issues that need to be sorted out that are more of a gray area. Like I talk about issues with nakedness. Okay, you think I have all the answers to everything? No, that's why I got to pray. I don't know I don't understand all this stuff. It's tough being human. It's tough for men and it's tough for women. I mean, I feel sorry for women that, when it gets hot, man, the last thing you want on is even a t-shirt. You've got to put it on to go into an establishment or something. But, man, you get home and it's coming off. But now, I'm watching TMZ and the girls are, they're lusting after men's chests and all this. So I'm thinking, well, I'm not a piece of meat here, ladies. I mean, why should I have to have that burden? I feel sorry for the ladies that, don't feel free to be able to take their shirts off. I mean, this is sexism in our face. Yet we all accept it. And then all this white bashing out there. White people bashing. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. You know what this reminds me of? It just struck me this morning. This is like Nazi Germany. When you say, well, these were German people. Well, the vast majority, even though they voted for Hitler, I mean, they didn't sign up for what he did to Jews and gypsies and Christians and poor people. Oh, no, no, no. So to paint them with a broad brush and label them all, oh, my God, all the German people are bad Nazis. Could you imagine being a German? And having that, to live with that, that's what it's like being a white person in America in the 21st century. That's what it feels like to me. But I adore some white people. I mean, listen to Armstrong Williams. Intellectual prowess that just blows me out of the water. I love the man. I mean, Jimmy Cliff, I've been listening to his music since I was a teenager. I love these people. Dick Gregory, I just saw him on this guy's show, this Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen. Love that guy. I love a lot of black men. Martin Luther King Jr., I freaking idolize him. I worked with a black guy at the 7-Eleven. We had a graveyard shift down in Santa Cruz back in the early 1980s. Love the guy. Loved him. He's funniest guy. The guy, he's probably some famous comedian, or he should have been if he's still alive. But the guy was really smart, very witty, and just made me laugh all the time. I don't know how he did it, because the stuff he was, pretty irreverent. It was just, he was being silly, but he was a funny guy. It was fun to work with. A lot of levity, and I really enjoyed him. He was a friend, and I just liked him on a very personal, soulful level. And I've known other people. There was a landscaper down in Santa Cruz, black guy, Charles, Alexander's Gardening Service, hauling and gardening, I think he called it. Give me his business card. We really clicked. Just a really nice guy. So there's a lot of black men that I like very well. And I've had way more issues with white guys, believe me. I've had a lot more animosity toward the slights I've felt from white guys than any black guys or Latino guys or Asian guys, by far and away. So let me be very clear. I'm not at all racist. I wasn't brought up that way. I was brought up with a dad that adored guys like Cesar Chavez and Martin Luther King Jr. and JFK. That's how I was raised. And I didn't just buy it, hook, line, and sinker, because my dad believed it. I looked into it. My dad was a smart guy. He cared a lot. He had a tough childhood, man. Brought up in Revere or Shirley, Massachusetts. I can't remember which town. I get mixed up. He was born in one and raised in the other. But his mother died in childbirth when he was 8 years old. He had to go out and deliver milk and newspapers in the snow all day as a child to bring home a dime that he had to give to the family to support the family. He gave to his mean stepmother. It's so bad. I mean, he lived on hot dogs and Coca-Cola, which he attributes for his multiple sclerosis in his 30s. He stole his older brother Danny's ID, and he got into the Merchant Marines. And from there, he went into the Marine Corps in the Second World War as a teenager. I like to think I would have done that. I don't know. But he had it rough. And he was a boxer in the Marine Corps. He grew to be a big, strong man, 6'2". They called him Nails Credit. His last name was Credit, Marine Corps. His grandfather was at one time called the strongest man in Canada. It was a refrigerator lifting contest or some damn thing. But my dad's dad, he was just an average-sized man like myself. So it's run intergenerationally. If my son had survived, he probably would have been a big man too. But I admired him, I mean, he was a guy that wasn't afraid to dream and then to actually go out and try to fulfill his dreams. He was a boat builder, a shipbuilder. And I helped him. And I sailed with him. A lot of adventures. He was very brave, he was a poet. He likes to be remembered most of all as a poet, ultimately. He had a side I didn't like. It was kind of intimidating to other men. And at one point in my life when I was 22, I had to get in his face and tell him, look, I don't like that. I'm not going to carry that on. And he got mad and chased me out of the house. And it was a showdown, Mexican standoff, but nothing happened. And but from there on out, I think it kind of changed him. So it was something I felt compelled to do as his son, his only son, to point that out. And I think it helped him. So sometimes children do teach parents. I think God is living vicariously through us, and we are living vicariously through God. It's a symbiotic relationship. So I think God does learn some things from us. Okay? In Scripture, it says that what is sin to one man may not be to another. Like if I'm a staunch non-meat eater, let's say, and I think, oh, that's cruelty to animals, and how could you do that, and all this, and other people say, I'm a hunter. I think they're animals. You kill them. I'm a believer too. I go to church and I pray and I read my Bible. I'm a hunter and I eat animals. I've got absolutely no compunction, zero compunction about killing and eating animals. You got that, buddy? So I'm all right. I say, you know what? This is not my issue. I just choose to avoid a lot of foods because there's health reason benefits, but it also simplifies my life. And there's plenty of other foods that can substitute it. Yes, you need plenty of protein, but there's fish and there's peanut butter and there's eggs, all this stuff. I'm not vegan, believe me. I believe in lots of butter and lots of fat and lots of eggs. Big believer. If you look at this guy, this doctor, what's his name? Oh, darn it. I have a problem with names sometimes. But there's doctors out there that'll tell you eggs, the yolk is the healthiest part. I mean, if you had an egg yolk omelet, would be a lot healthier than an egg white omelet. That's the best part. It's all good. But, I don't eat eggs all the time. I could go a month, maybe eat a dozen eggs. But to do it once in a while, your brain is mostly made up of that kind of cholesterol. And it's super healthy. It's good for your heart. Read about it. Cook it in butter. Don't overcook them. But eat eggs are a health food. So our bodies are like a machine, and you got to listen to it. And this time of year, you got to drink water, have it near you all the time, man. And just drink and drink and drink. Because your body, like a plant, it's transpiring. If it's windy and hot, I mean, it's just, moisture is just being just sucked right out of it all the time. Our skin is the biggest eliminatory organ we have. So, friends, we've got to let God control our reality, okay? You decide. You are every bit as qualified to decide your reality as anybody else. Clear the slate. Let God go and say, look, you see all this BS? This is all made up. This is all artificial. This is all concocted, conjured up by evil men that create the policies we're all forced by laws to live under. The only laws God says you have to follow is love Him above all else, and then love one another. And if you do those things, you'll please me and you'll find happiness. Do you understand? That's the key. He's the granter of true happiness. Please Him. Values are everything. Are your values in sync, in line with His? Are your values me and Him and her? Then they're right values. If they're not, if you think of values as your gold, your silver, your whatever it is, anything else, then you're askew. You're on the highway to you know where, the wrong line, okay, to go to a better world. Because while God's love is unconditional, it's agape love poured out on all His children, even the stinkers out there equally are beloved. Entrance into a better world is conditional, okay? It's based on being right with Him, pleasing Him, having right values, being in line, being obedient children. In that sense. Do you understand? We can't judge each other because, like I say, what is sin to one man may not be to another. There are things that cause men to sin. These forms of escapism we fall headlong into, our weaknesses, our foibles, and all this crap. Nobody has to pay us to do it. We just do it. It's escapism. What are we trying to escape from? Our miserable, stinking reality. So-called reality. All right, friends, I'm on to some recent current events from this last week. I want to make a correction. I said that 60,000 tons of cosmic dust fall on the Earth every day. No, I meant to say 60 tons approximately. I mean, that's got to be a hard thing to measure, right? But it's an approximation. They've got methods of doing that. And the title, I used an ellipsis in the title when I said, "Will Christ return soon?" Because my uploading program, this Elgato thing, it won't allow me to use a question mark. I don't know why. YouTube's okay with question marks, but then when YouTube, as soon as it gets transferred, they get rid of any dots. They say, "Oh well, we're going to edit this without," I mean, did I ask you to edit it, YouTube? No, but they take away my ellipsis. As if Google doesn't know what an ellipsis is, dot dot dot, because I can't put question marks. So I just wanted to put that, make people think a little, right? Will Christ return soon? And it was said quite possibly, is what it meant to say. Ellipsis, then quite possibly, but they edited.